First of all, my name's Stacey Rush, and this is more of an experiential versus a teaching and learning, but I'm doing it in a method so that you can hopefully pick up some things in your own intuition and guidance and be able to utilize it on your own when it's needed, as it's needed, through source highest truth, perspective, definition, understanding, feeling, and knowing, all on your own, through the ascended wisdom and the ascended mastery that is you. If you're okay with that, you just say yes with an acceptance on that. Okay, so first of all, we're going to take 2 volunteers here. Any volunteers? Okay, I'll have you come on up, and why don't you come up? Okay, so she's going to be our lovely model. And all I want you to do is hold your arm out strong and tell us your name.
Linda.
Linda, good. I'll say my name's Bob.
My name's Bob.
No, it's not. Okay, clearly. Body doesn't lie. All right, so that's just body dowsing, muscle testing. So we're going to just have our friend Diane here think this, without speaking it, about her.
Okay.
Okay, hold strong. Do it again. Okay, what you did in having that thought, and the thought was, all she did was think it, is you're an idiot about Linda.
And that was the perfect word. My parents' family used that word.
Oh, interesting. That's the word that I got to use for you. Okay, so we're going to hold strong on that. Good. Now, I'm going to give her another phrase.
What did you do? You just shifted it? What do you mean we're going to hold strong on that?
We're just going to leave that for a second. I clear cancel deleted that. So now, hold on. Okay, good. So now I'm going to go between the two of you. And then this next time, this is what you're going to think about her while we're doing that. But before we do that, let's hold strong. Get your yes. Say your name, Linda.
Yes, Linda.
Linda, and give me your name.
Diane.
Diane, great. All right, so go ahead and just think that thought that's on that paper.
I do.
Yeah. And what did she weakened hers? She weakened her own. We live in a literal universe, and all she thought was you're stupid, right? Clear, cancel, delete that. Peace, love, and joy. One of the quickest ways to re-strengthen your energy field. That is being responsible with every thought, word, deed, and action that we have. Every thought we have is a moment of creation. So what we think about the golden rule, that's a literal rule for planet Earth, especially as you ascend into the higher dimensions.
The more powerful you get.
Yes. So if I have that thought at my frequency about anyone, shit'll blow over kind of dynamic. So you become more mindful, and that leaves your consciousness completely. Now, of course, she would never think that of you, and that was cleaned for your deeper genetics, what your parents said to you as a child. That's why it was brought up. But if we think something of like peace, joy, happiness, kindness, think of that about her and about yourself, super strong, no matter what happens. Now, we're going to use another example. Christian, or Nathan, thank you. Will you stand up and do something for me? So I'm just going to hit you guys both, hold strong. And what I want you to do is look at them from their tops down. He just pulled their power. If you look at somebody from the top of their head to the bottoms of their feet, this is as ancient as time itself. You are taking power. Martial arts always move their hands this way and opposite for the purpose of raising and lowering the power. So walking into a bar when you're younger or whatever, men mostly check, or women, check it out, men and women, top down, you are stealing, you're sucking the energy like a vampire. We're going to clear, cancel, delete that. What we want him to do is look at them from their toes to their heads, to the tops of their heads. And that raises and lifts them up. Works the same way as if I would just go like this. So I'm going to do this one on Nathan for a minute. If you just stand up. So I'm just going to make sure because he's a little bit more advanced. So if I literally just go like this. Yeah. I just sucked his power out. Now watch. Pull that right back up. I just am moving my hands, but I have the knowledge of what that would do to somebody. So that's why mindfulness and working through love is super important, just to get you to understand how powerful we each are and the impacts we make. It doesn't matter if she was sitting at her home in Australia and she was in New Zealand or she's in China. It works the same way that quickly. So be mindful about what you think, say, or do about yourself, first and foremost, as well as others, because there's a lot of spaghetti noodles and stuff that get thrown all over, which are energy cords, not quite as much as a cord or a psychic psychic attack, but in essence, for people who are overly sensitive, it is, and it is a drain. And that's why some of it, that's why some of the extra weight is put on people, because you're so sensitive to those energies, that kind of a thing, that you're used to it and it feels more safe. So doing some of this cleanup work, a lot of this, we're going to do some deeper exorcism work too, but they were asking me to just show how powerful and how quickly every thought creates. And we live in a literal universe. Thank you, ladies. Peace, love, and joy to them. And to Nathan. Thank you, thank you. Okay. So you guys were all brought here, one, because for the potentiality in your ascended mastership of moving forward into the ascended self, the Christed state of beingness. And on some level, either these things are issues for you, your ancestors, still tied in from past lives, part of collective, but they also told me, which I mentioned to some, you might not have been sitting in here, is that you're going to do representations. By you doing this work, we're offering it to your soul families. And it is actually doing a great service to humanity at this time for us to clean these out for the larger whole. So thank you for showing up. This was a soul appointment. And this is going to help advance you moving forward and aligning further, especially as you integrate this awesome weekend of the energies that you've been exposed to into your best expression of ascended selves. Does everybody understand that? We'll give you Source Highest Truth teaching on that if you're okay with that. Yes. All right. So, all right, actually, let's, everybody else stand up for a second. And so we're going to teach you how to body dowse or muscle test for yourself, so you have your own direct connection in how to hear highest truth source of all creation, from the isness of creation, the ultimate truth. If you're okay with that, you say yes. Yes. And now I want you to say, we're going to download you with body dowsing muscle testing. If you're okay with that, you can say yes. Yes. And now I want you to say on your own, Creator, show me my yes. And you should be going forward. Creator, show me my no. That's okay. It's because you're more sensitive, so you know what's coming to clean. So it's okay. We're going to reset, just so you get an idea of this. So we're going to I'll get into that, and that's just because some of the other things, the named energetics, are surfacing that need to be released. So we'll get to that. You're just a little bit ahead. So anytime you want to ask any question of highest truth source, all you need to do is connect into that, and then technically zip your aura. If those ladies had their aura zipped and were mindful of their own energy and space, you could expand that zipped up as far out as you want and still be positively effective without taking in any sort of energetic. But when you muscle test and you want to talk and hear clarity of truth, you want to be zipped. So when I zip, you can imagine bringing the energy almost like a zipper. It zips all the way around and closes, right? And now check, Creator, show me yes. Creator, show me no. Okay. All right, let's make sure any all levels, any all aspects understand what it is and feels like to reclaim your birthright, to have direct connection and communication to the highest truth source of all creation as your birthright now. If you accept that, you just say yes. Yes. Okay, and so we're going to just test a general, belief system that would keep many people from moving further into love. And so just say on any and all aspects, any and all levels. On any and all aspects. On any and all levels. I love myself. Okay? If you went back, it's just a matter of not necessarily you, but on a deeper level in the genetics, it's not possible. The conception of what love is or feels like isn't present. Okay? If it went forward, yes, or it was a standstill and then a response, then it's not a full yes. So we're just going to go ahead and shift that one out right now. Anybody, whether or not you had it, we're going to say to send that to Creator's highest truth, the source of creation for change, and replace that with what it is, feels like, looks like, and expresses as of I love myself, yes, on all levels and all aspects, here now. And you just say yes to that. So now go ahead and test that one more time. I love my, on any all aspects, on any all levels, I love myself. Should have been a much stronger pull forward than it was, okay? We're going to do that at the very end because just watch when we clear out some of this deeper stuff. Right? No, you'll be able to maintain it, but you're going to get stronger in your body. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to just clean out. Many of us have been, you can go ahead and sit down for this one because you're going to close your eyes, keep your feet on the floor. So technically, love is all there is, right? I mean, that's the highest truth teaching of all creation. However, within the belief constructs and conditions of the human experience, going back to the point of origination of original creation, with the fall and yada, 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 all the way up to now, there are belief systems that are intact. And if your belief systems are intact with those, then you will be affected by those energetics. Not only you, but your family members as well. So this first part is going to actually be, don't repeat any of the names that I'm saying. As I say the names, you just say yes, that you are allowing for yourself on all levels and all aspects to be released from any sort of oaths, vows, obligations, marriages, seen or unseen, known or unknown, hidden, buried, covered up, unclear, intermittent, unresolved, current or past life karmic ties, family ties, heart ties, soul ties, spirit ties, ego ties, any marriages, contracts of ownership, and or like possession of at any time, and like owing them or being enslaved to them on all levels and all aspects. Through, if you're okay to that, you just say yes. Yes. And I'm going to state these names, and then these are these aren't names that you would normally want to repeat, but you're just going to say yes after each one for the acceptance of the clearing. All right, here we go. The devil. Yes. Yes. Demons. Yes. Satan. Yes. Lucifer. Yes. Beelzebub. Yes. Baal. Yes. Mammon. Yes. Asmodeus. Yes. Leviathan. Yes. Belphegor. Yes. Astaroth. Yes. Mudhib. Yes. Mamun. Yes. Bargan. Yes. Amar. Yes. Ahriman. Yes. Archdemons. Yes. Archdemians. Yes. Archdemons. Yes. King of the East, Amayaman. Yes. King of the West, Khorasan. Yes. King of the North, Zimamar. Yes. King of the South, Gapa. Yes. King Baal. Yes. King Pamion. Yes. King Beleth. Yes. King Purser. Yes. King Asmodia. Yes. King Vine. Yes. King Valam. Yes. King Bulgar. Yes. King Bilia. Yes. Lilith, yes. In the negative sense. Ani. Yes. Hirakas. Yes. Succubi. Yes. Balance and integrate. Now, those of you that were feeling the intense heat during those or feeling heavy at the time, just allow it to process out. We're going to have unconditional love from the source of creation. And do I have permission to come into your energy? Yes, I should have said that out loud. I already admit it technically, but serving as witness. Additionally, any sort of cords or chains that would be associated to, maintained on your physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, energetic bodies to also be released with that. Yes. And any free-floating memories, memories of shock, trauma, drama, torture, sacrifice, suffering, terrorization from any of those energetics as well to also be released through those memories. Yes. And any miasms associated with that have been created as a result to also be released. Yes. And what those are all being replaced with are source highest truth of what it is and feels like to be sovereign. If you're okay with that. Yes. What sovereignty is, feels, looks like, and expresses as. Yes. Yes. And that you choose that for yourself now. Yes. Also, we're going to release any of the plug-in or microcircuitry energetics that any of them or any of the dark star nations or same thing with the traumas and dramas, everything I stated at the beginning that have to do with any of the darker star nations. We're going to release that as well. Yes? Yes. And all the markings, coatings, imprints of them, or those that were released to be sent, I would say yes. And now we're going to call back any soul fragments that you have that contain to any of those named energetics to be pulled, cleansed, purified, sent to source for appropriate redistribution, if you're okay with that. And then any of your soul fragments that are contained by any of those energetics to be pulled, cleansed, purified, returned to you now. And that's for any all levels, any all aspects, yes. We're going to also ask for a complete energetic divorce. And this is actually a Hebrew phrasing, which is a really good way to cut ties or cut cords. But it's saharab na, saharab na, saharab na, from those energetics as well, indefinitely. I would just say yes to that. Awesome. So how's everyone feeling? Good? Okay with that? Anyone got any intense pain? Oh, in your arms? Okay, so hold on. Any sort of obligations to grip or to grip onto or not to move forward or let go, to be released on all levels and all aspects? You can all take that, whether it as it applies to you. Any sort of hand fastings that you would have, it was a hand fasting, any sort of hand fastings that you would have ever had with any of those energetics that were named and then released, to be released all levels and all aspects now. Whew. Nice job. Anybody else got any other pain before we go on? Okay, knee? Okay, so we're going to do knee first, and then we'll do back of the heart. Okay. Okay, so the knee one, basically, any of the energetics that are like any obligations to be kept or held frozen, or like a lack of momentum or movement forward, motivation, or give me the right word. Initiative with your own divine inspiration to be released now. I would say yes to that. Yes. That we're quarter tied to any of that or anything else on any all levels, any all aspects. We're going to allow for that change. Yes. Okay, and then on the back of the heart, in that sense, that was about a sealant of the heart, kind of a dynamic. So let's have any sort of false light versions, any fault light representatives, energies, anything that was named or unnamed that has ever put a sealant of not allowing the heart to be open, to be released on all levels and all aspects now, if you're okay with that. Yes. You know how to, what it feels like to have source highest truth of the heart open and or ajar, if you're okay with that. And that it's always your free will choice as to how far or how widespread open you are, but that the potentiality of it being open now, is yours, if you're okay with that. Yes. And that source highest truth level of awareness, perception, perspective, definition, understanding, feeling and knowing, as well as discernment in how and when to and or how far open you choose to have your heart at any given time, if you're okay with that. Yes. How does that feel on the back there now?
I'm stabbed there.
Okay. Yeah. So let's have that extracted as well. Any sort of like stabbings, piercings, all that kind of stuff could also be released for all levels and all aspects. If you're okay with that? Yes. Okay. Let's go ahead and any sort of markings or coding that were ever done to anyone on any all levels, any all aspects, through all levels of the genetics, that was ever done through possession of any of those beings or named energetics or adversities, through means of sexual abuse, whether it was in thought or actually physically being done, and or through masturbatory thoughts of another, that kind of dynamic, to be released on all levels for both men and women as it applies. All sexes are going to accept yes, because your genetics contain both roles. So I would say yes to that. And we're going to reclaim that with holy, sacred sexuality, blessing of the isness of creation, and harmony of the sacred and feminine. If you're okay with that. Okay, so what they're telling me is some of you are going to need a little bit more time to process that one out. So we're going to just turn up the turbo vax below your feet in that turbo vac to the energy of creation. Allow that to process through as we continue on, if you're okay with that. Yes. All right, next thing we're going to do is, in order to move into our best ascended selves, or expression of our ascended selves, we need to move forward free from and without and beyond. On any levels, any aspects, I move forward free from and without negative child mind state tendencies as an adult from any all aspects, any all levels of the beliefs, patterns, programs, paradigms, undercurrents of the following, either generally, constant, or chronic, as stated for all the following. I would just say yes to that blanket. Yes. And now I'm going to just kind of name certain things. So acting out. Yes. Whining. Yes. Complaining. Yes. Constant complaining. Yes. Throwing tantrums. Caring only for myself. Being insecure. Having no consideration for others. Yes. Narcissistic. Narcissistic tendencies. Yes. Entitlement. Yes. Having no line between right or wrong. Yes. Having no loyalty. Yes. Inability to follow through. Yes. Tending to gossip, or just gossiping in general. Yes. Disappointment in others or self. Yes. High expectations of others or self, and or source. Yes. Never having fun. Yes. Never having joy. Yes. Never having love. Avoid nurturing self. Yes. Avoid receiving nurturing from others. Yes. Trust only myself. Yes. Issues of rarely showing up for work, school, or life in general. Yes. Issues of holding a job. Yes. Giving up easily. Yes. Attempting to start businesses or multiple businesses, but then giving up. Yes. So it's almost doubting. The doubting Thomas, or doubting the success, and or attachment to the failure before it's even begun. Yes. And obligations of creating that. Yes. Never discussing things. Yes. Procrastination. Communication issues in general. Yes. Issues of thinking or believing like school or the job or others or the world owes me. Yes. Blaming people. Yes. Judgment of people. Being easily bored. Laziness. Having difficulty managing finances or money. Yes. Having difficulty and irresponsibility with abundance. And that's abundance in all forms: fiscally, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, energetically. Also with health, well-being, vitality. Yes. Undercutting others. Yes. Having stabbing others in the back. Yes. Stealing others' ideas. Yes. Overly concerned with the external. Yes. Picking favorites. Yes. Inequality. Yes. Uncomfortable with self. Yes. Dislikes being alone. Yes. Being overly socializing. Yes. Like, so over socialization, like the need is that versus being at peace with oneself. Yes. Tendencies to fight. Yes. Expressing a need to be appreciated. Yes. Like partying or over partying is being very important or of utmost importance. Yes. Having high maintenance friends. Yes. Having high maintenance friends that are needy. Yes, and that you allow, like you suckle them or allow them to suck you dry. Yes. And just neediness in general. Yes. Attracting needy people. And or attracting needy people that have no intention of healing or advancing. Yes. Don't waste your time with them. We don't have time for that. There are plenty of people that are willing and ready to work with you for what you could be offering to them. So it's not like we're leaving them behind. They've made their choice. Find the ones that are ready for the work to move forward. Because they're out there. They just need to find you or us to help them. Does that make sense? So Source Highest Truth teaching on that. What else? Any dynamics of lack of friends or lack of friends, lack of support. Let's say both of those at one time. Yes. So lack of commonality or sense of community like we have here. Yes, because we're all at a caliber where we can, like I come here every year to get filled. This is where I come to recharge because I do this stuff day in and day out for people all around the world every day for the last, I don't know, since 2006 actively. And this is where my soul, where I get filled kind of dynamic so that I can actually go out and go forth. Now, at any time, I can call numerous people from all around here if I did get into a pinch or a bind. But what you want to be attracting now, releasing these needy people, are more commonality. So you get this more on a regular basis in your life so that you can maintain yourself moving forward. Does that make sense? So source truth on that and how to align in that. Yes. That you know how to and what it feels like to, or actually continuing the lack of friends issues I said, expecting to depend on friends or others. Yes. So we want to release the expectation and the attachment to that. Yes. The most important energy you need to depend on or be available to you is highest truth source in any given moment. Okay. Now this is about relationships. So getting bored in relationships quickly. Yes. So that means love relationships, but that means friendships. That means any sort of relationship that you're engaging in. So I would say yes for any levels and all aspects of that. Searching for another partner while in a current relationship. Yes, that's also, and that includes attempting to make someone love me. Yes. Becoming like tendencies or issues of no longer acting like yourself in relationships. So that's romantic relationships, but that could also be then with this group of friends versus this group of friends versus your family type dynamics, yes. What we want to instill is, and replace that piece with specifically also give the download of how to be, your most genuine, authentic, unfeigned expression of source, love, truth channel. In spirit, soul, and body at all levels, all aspects, infinitely now, yes. And eternally now, yes. Okay. No longer becoming what you think another person wants you to be when in a relationship. Yes. Fighting with my children. Yes. Like beating or screaming at my children. Yes. And or at children in general. Yes. And or others. Yes. And so we're going to also do some replacements for any all levels, any all aspects, having source, highest truth, perspective, definition, understanding, feeling, and knowing of healthy child mind states of being in terms of encouragement. Yes. Discernment. Yes. Praise. Yes. Building healthy self-esteem. Yes. Being comfortable in looking for my identity, walking and living the truth of knowing my true identity. Yes. And expressing that identity. Feeling safe and secure. Yes. What safety actually is, feels like. Yes. And what security is and feels like. Yes. Feeling kindness and learning kindness. Feeling consideration, learning it. Yes. Having like a wonder-like mentality and wonder-like mentality of a child. Yes. Being able to have the trust of a child with discernment and having a vivid imagination, valuing life, belief in magic, yes, belief in miracles, acceptance of my creation of miracles, yes, spontaneous, valuing life, yes, having fun, knowing how to laugh, is self-encouraged, conserved for all, makes good decisions, nice, self-assured, yes, has the most, number one, utmost important with your relationship that you have is yours and highest truth source of creation, which is love's intelligence, yes. And that you know how to take that in and live in that, be in that and express or experience everything through that, yes. Being able to trust the creator, or the creator of all that is, that pure energy of creation, yes. Being able to trust myself, yes. Being able to hear what others are actually saying. Yes. So also having the wisdom and the intuition as well as the telepathy, basically, to know what is being unsaid as well. Yes. Being source highest truth of being allowing of human nature. Yes. And compassion. Knowing that I'm safe. Yes. And knowing how to lead. Yes. And knowing that true leadership allows everyone to shine. Yes. Allowing you're loving people, I would say yes to that, and that you're so radiant of that love of people that people actually feel your love no matter what's going on in your life. Yes. That you know how to and what it feels like to now have your energy set to surround yourself with like-minded people, people that can actually, in reciprocity, give back to you, that are trustworthy and loyal, and you do the same. Yes? But it's like in an organic sense, not the old quid pro quo, like something for something or through a conditional version, but truly from that unconditional love version. Yes? And now I want to open the floor for anything else that is coming through your beautiful channels for what else we need to call in, like in terms of what you'd like source truth teachings on.
The ability to make commitments and follow through with them.
Perfect. So let's give source highest truth, perspective, definition, understanding, feeling, and knowing of making commitments and following through with them. Yes. To completion. Yes. And the knowing of when they are completed. Yes. Perfect. Great one.
And being clear with your purpose so you know which things to commit to and which to let go of.
Absolutely. Yes to that. Did you guys hear that? So it was being clear with your purpose, what it is, so that you could know which things to stay focused and tuned into, and then which to just let go of. Yes. In fact, I mentioned a story about that yesterday. My teacher shares a story in the 9/11 buildings. There was another Theta Healing colleague that I had in that building working for her everyday job, and her entire office was being forced by their business to go this one way. And in that moment, they're saying yes, yes, and she took a moment and centered herself with source, and she was like, Creator's highest truth, what am I supposed to do here? And she heard very clearly, go out the back staircase, there will be a man, follow him. So against her, she knew she was going to be in non-compliance and their bosses are yelling at them all and all this kind of stuff. She went of her own accord down those staircases. She's the only surviving member of her entire, 40, 50 person staff, right? Because she talked to source because she still had purpose. Creator still had plan for her. She was able to follow. We each have that capacity within ourselves and must utilize that every moment of now. The clearer you become and you are in that kind of dynamic, it wasn't until I was a little bit older that I actually realized, when I met, I was like, oh, I've been doing that my whole life. Oh, that's what it's called, huh? Kind of a thing. But cleaning out these other lower vibrational dynamics, there's never a moment where I don't get instantaneous information constantly. Some of it's mine to do, some of it's not. And so we'll give the teachings of recognizing, having discernment. Just because I know it doesn't mean I do it, doesn't mean I speak it even. It's not my place to do. So let's give you source truth teachings of knowing what is yours to accomplish. Yes. When to, how to, and how to know how to, and that choose to, and that you do. Perfect. Abuses and addictions? Yes. Just in general. And so one of the key things that all addictions are child mind states of being that are holding on to. Any type of addiction, no matter what it is, a pattern personality, till that's kind of cleaned up and out, and then it's a choice, okay? Conscious choice making. So we're going to ask for any addiction patterns programs and abuse patterns programs to be released for all levels and all aspects, and then how to allow the child mind states to release that as well, and then allow for source to bring in the truth of conscious God power, willpower, to make your choice of action in each moment of now. Yes? And that you could do that without judging yourself. Yes. Okay, so for example, there's a whole class that we teach with food and dynamic. The second you think, oh, I shouldn't be eating this, your body will not digest it, will take no nutritional value. If you go ahead and eat fudge or something and you're, supposedly dieting, and you go ahead and you're, I shouldn't be eating this, or doing guilty, your body doesn't take the nutritional value in, it just puts it through, probably will store it as toxin and then not allow the full release of it, or nutritional. So what you want to do is literally bless everything from the highest true source of energy of creation in every drink or anything you put into your mouth. And I do it at whole restaurants. I go in there and bless. I'm doing it no matter, if I'm doing it on my own, I'm doing it on everything in here. But it'll only go for those whose free will and choice will allow it to go. You could send love to the whole planet, but if their cell receptors do not have what it feels like, looks like, expresses as, or how to receive love, because in their mindsets or subliminal programming, it's love is pain, love is abuse, everyone who loves me abuses me, those kind of cell receptors, which over the years, since I've been coming here the last 12, I've been clearing little patterns of things from the groups of people that come here based on what, like, general dynamics of what's been needed for the whole populace to advance forward. So the goal and the intention is you can offer to the higher selves that if they're wanting to receive that love, that the source of creation can help or give to their higher self what it feels like to receive that love, in addition to sending love and sending light. Does that make sense? Because a lot of us send that love or send those intentions, but just having that awareness that it's only going to affect the people that are capable of affecting it, and a large population of the planet is, unfortunately, in conditional love. They were born in conditional love. And the parents and the people love us as best that they can with the capacity of what they have, which, because they were raised the same way, conditional love. Now, kids coming from higher groups of spiritual people like this, there's beautiful families. And we have, like Shane and his wife and stuff, they're raising their kids to move into a more of an unconditional love dynamic and allowing freedom of choice and things that some of us were not quite exposed to. Does that make sense? Yeah, so that's just the populace of the whole, just to have that understanding as you're going out and doing your work. Did I give the download or whatever was asked or suggested? Yeah. Did you feel like that we got that piece? Yeah. Go ahead.
Came out during this one,
Okay, so neck, shoulder, masculine side. So any sort of gripping or refusal to move beyond the patriarchal masculine dominance that the conditioning of the earth has been functioning with for many years, or eons, or whatever, to be changed, if you're okay with that. Yes. And replaced with the acceptance of the sacred feminine, the Sophia Code or Sophia Code matrix as it applies for all levels and all aspects. Yes.
The ego need any remnants of the ego needing to feel important.
Perfect.
I think you already covered that.
We did, but we could just ask for it again. Any how to and what it feels like to move forward, free from, without, and beyond, divorce from, any ego need for the feet, like being recognized, or the need for feeling important, or feeling importance. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Oh wait, we gotta. Oh yeah, we forgot. We forgot we've had a microphone. You'll be fine.
One thing that I'm struggling with is putting myself in a situation to re-traumatize myself with family members that were unknowingly harmful to me as a child. And I'd like to figure out a way to release that so that I can be with them without being harmed, so that I don't harm them by extracting them from my life. So do you know what I'm talking about?
Okay, so let's just release the energy. That's an energetic obligation, basically, and commitment. But any sort of addiction or pattern or program to recreate or re-experience that which you allowed Source to heal within you or to move beyond, to be changed. I would say yes to that.
Yes.
And also on that one, for any all levels, any all aspects, how to, what it feels like, looks like, expressed as, to move forward beyond martyrdom.
Yes.
Part of that, putting yourself into those situations, was deeper genetics of attachment of martyrdom. So doing it with hoping to get and gain like God's approval through the deeper genetics in some way to help, but we don't need any of that anymore. So that's what you just let go. They could still be in your life, kind of dynamic. You can have love. We want to have love, and you could do the forgiveness dynamic.
I'm okay doing that from a distance.
Okay.
I'd like to be able to go visit my 95-year-old grandmother, but I'm like so re-traumatized when I go over there that
Okay.
it's not good for her or me.
Got it. Okay, so that's where the release of the obligation should change that part of the story. Does that make sense? That you can see her without re-experiencing the physicality of any trauma, shock, trauma, and drama from that childhood state. Does that make sense? Okay. And you can apply that to everybody.
Yes.
Okay, anything else?
I don't know, it's just an energy that's just holding on.
Okay, so hold on. Okay, so with that, what we're going to do is there are some energetics that have at different times utilized DNA that was within our streams for like experimentation and hybridization and cloning even off planet. So we're just going to ask for those energies to be released and no longer have affiliation with us on all levels and all aspects now, if you're okay with that.
Yes.
We're going to reclaim. I'm actually going to ask for all experimentation, if you're in agreement to that, that is off planet, or any, to have the energetic cords and ties released, if you're okay with that.
Yes.
That are not the highest truth, light, love, and joy, or benevolence, or aligned with your growth and advancement of into the ascended self and ascended mastery here on Earth.
Yes.
Now, or mid-grade, or whatever you want to call it.
And that savior complex, I think sometimes when those of us in this like to save other people, we want to tell them
Yes.
what we know.
Right.
It's like a compulsion.
Yes. So how to and what it feels like to move forward without the savior complex. But there's two ways of that. The savior complex is the people closest or around you never recognize you coming into the truth or being able to perform these amazing healings and that kind of stuff. So we want to release that program or that paradigms. And then also kind of being the one that I have to save everybody else. Actually, just the programming in general, if it's my job to save the earth or save the world or that kind of thing. It's my fault. It's my fault that Atlantis failed. That kind of dynamic. Release all that. Yes. And replace with how to and what it feels like to redirect everyone back to the true source of creation in any moment of now. Yes. That you choose to move forward in being of service of love, and only from your overflow can they actually utilize or benefit from. Does that make sense? Yes. And so what that feels like, looks like, expressed as, and how to shift, change, align all that to you moving forward. If you're okay with that.
Yes.
What else is?
Right between my shoulder blades and my hands.
Okay, that's because everyone's got to stand up right now. That's not an attachment. You just need, your angel wings need to be upgraded. Wing upgrade, expansion, repair. If you're okay with that.
Yes.
Wing fluffing. Oh, this is overdue for some of you. I've been doing this since I was a kid. I'll teach you another thing that I love. One of my other things I would always call for is a wing fluffing. So we'll give you the teaching of that and how to feel that and be able to utilize that. That at any time you could call in wings if you choose, like your wings, the utilization of them.
Yes.
And so you just think wings up or wings out and then wings closed. Now play with that for a minute. Close your eyes and feel it. And now really feel the fluffing. That's just like a highlight of my life. How's that feel now? That's what you needed. Most people, they go see chiropractors and do some of that stuff, and really on the energy bodies, it's something different. Because we're not just physically here. I mean, it's physical, it's mental, it's spiritual, it's emotional, it's energetic, it's electrical, it's chemical. In all these areas, all those negative thoughts, or how I modeled just how quick, some of that stuff is what's blocking people, because you're walking around unzipped, wide open. For anybody like me, now I would never do that, but I'm usually walking around zipping people's energy fields up that are pretty bright and light, because they don't know yet. They don't know what they don't know. Kind of dynamic to kind of help them out, because otherwise, the best service that we could be is to really be in the best love space channel that we could be, but to keep yourself first and foremost, kind of like on the airline people, like mothers, put your oxygen mask on first kind of a thing. We need to maintain that. And so that was why the one download change is to be able to move forward without avoiding nurturing self first and foremost, because I've had imbalance with that. Probably, I think I worked on that for 6-7 years and have gotten better with it, but still now and again, well, because I can and because I can, kind of a dynamic, but more or less just saying, you know what, you could wait 2 days, kind of a thing. Where at the beginning when I started doing this, I was like doing kind of what he was talking about, because I can and I know how to, and help them. I used to say I'm open 24 hours a day. Call me if you need me. Well, then I finally learned about like setting healthy boundaries, enforcing those boundaries, because at 2:41 I'm getting calls like, hey, is this the soulmate that you were talking about in that reading 3 months ago? And I'm like, I just went to bed an hour ago. I have board meetings in 3 hours. And I'm like, no, it's not the one. I would say like, what do you think? The fact that you're asking me tells me so. Those kind of things. But in the involvement, and so that's actually so that's where that comes from. Sorry, I'm going off on a Stacey tangent. So let's give you the download of how to have the discernment of knowing, and I said this yesterday to the group, but we'll go ahead and offer it again. Knowing what's mine to do, yes. Knowing when another's needs outweigh my needs.
Yes.
And knowing when my needs are outweighing another's needs.
Yes.
And how to shift and change the personal identification in spirit, soul, and body to align with divine will of highest true source of creation, spirit, soul, and body. Yes. That there's no need to hide as that beacon channel, because you hold the authority. And when you hold that authority, they'll walk. They avoid, or they hide, or they get people to avoid you, because they know what power you have over them. And whether you're doing it in Jesus' name or however you want to do it, the energy, by holding the power of the Christ itself, you hold operation of command on this in all realms. And so it's time to literally, like Carl Franklin was saying, walk as the gods on this planet. Because you have the capacity, that's what you're here to do, and that's what you need to be committed to doing. You already are, or you wouldn't be here. But just live the truth of that. There's, don't question, am I there yet? Am I not there yet? You're there. Just be. And then do. Does that make sense? So we'll give source truth on how to do that. If you're okay with that. Anything else? Anything else that's coming up for people? Or what you're wanting?
They need to stop pleasing.
Oh, that's a good one. So what it is and feels like, looks like, and expresses as how to move forward free from without the need or the feeling or obligation to please. Yes. That you know how to and what it feels like to, the only true validation comes from within. And so that you know what it feels like to have true acceptance, or actually we're going to rewind that. Yeah, true acceptance. You could say yes to that. But unfeigned self-acceptance, yes, which is through creators, all these downloads that we're doing on this piece, is God, first of all, let's make sure that, hold on, rewind, because not everybody was there yesterday. So let's make sure everybody's perspective, definition, understanding, feeling, and knowing of God, and highest truth God, and source of all creation, and creatrix of all creation, and Sophia, and all that is the isness of creation. It's one. Versus any false God, false light, false truth, false prophecy that was ever believed in through the energetics, or any lesser plane of existence, if you're okay with that.
Yes.
Oh, there we go. So know how to, what it feels like to have true acceptance and self-validation and self-assurance and self-empowerment and self-inspiration through your direct knowing to highest truth source. Yes. And that we will allow for the creator's perspective, definition, understanding level of unconditional forgiveness, moving into love space for us ever having bought into, believed in, participated in, created, perpetuate any adversity, opposition, or resistance to that. Yes. Did you feel that shift? Yeah. And that you know how to and what it actually feels like to be pleased. Yes. And that it's source highest truth will for us to gain and to live in bliss and joy and pleasure. Yes. And that you know how to choose that and create that for yourself. That happiness and joy and fun and play and laughter and is always our choice. And that you know how to actually choose that and allow yourself to choose that. Permit it. Let it. Live it. Love it. Yes. Somebody else is going to say something over here.
Complaining about, it's just kind of a feeling I've never felt before.
Complaining?
I'm not complaining.
Oh, no.
Okay, I'm not saying I need something to change. I think something changed. I feel an overwhelming feeling of peace that I've never felt, like a heaviness where I'm always like I'm going to sink to the ground, like I can't raise my arms. I'm just like in such a peace I could float away.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
So let's have Source teach you what it feels like to live in the ascended self state of being while physical in the body flesh, if you're okay with that. That you know how to and what it feels like to bring in that sacred source level love and appreciation and gratitude for the sacred body temple that we chose and created ourselves. Yes. That you are in peace with it. Yes. And that on all aspects and all levels you could forgive yourself for any dis-ease or discoordinates or disharmonics that you've created. Yes. We're also going to teach you how to what it feels like to receive the pure energy of creation through all body systems, but specifically through the acupuncture, acupressure, meridian points and lines, and the coordinates of them. That you know how to and what it feels like to actually be in the body, free from without the heaviness. That you're comfortable in being grounded, it actually in your body. Yes. That you know how to and what it feels like to have the harmony of that yin and yang when you're in that pure connection and source that never leaves you. And it's constant.
I'm so used to the turmoil in my whole life and the anxiety and feeling it, and it's just, for the first time, I'm like, ooh, throw it away. Like I've been doing a lot of work here, some people have,
Yeah.
I've been real heavy since I've been here for a lifetime, so it's like, ooh, I don't need it.
Awesome. So that you know how also move forward free flowing without unnecessary but recreated and perpetuated levels of chaos, confusion, because that was perceived or conceived as a norm, to be released, and then allow and know what it is and feels like to have the replacement of this perpetual state of peace within. And calm and relaxation and compassion.
Over planning, overdoing,
Okay,
way too much.
got it. So how to, what it feels like to move forward free from without and beyond over planning, overdoing, over obligating, and doing too much. Yes. That you also know how to be master. First of all, you know how to and what it feels like to function beyond time. Yes. Because what I do is I can get a lot done, but if I have only, clock time, I look and it's like, oh, I only have an hour and 45 minutes. Okay, you just call up and ask for I need this 6 hours worth of work done I want 20 minutes to spare. And then you could, we're masters of that, so we could bend and change that. So you could utilize those skills because it's already within you. Within us, all of us.
Too much overwhelming chaos. I can't seem to get
Yeah,
anything
so we want the
finished.
clarity so that you can be dedicated to whatever task is at hand or in front of you. Yes, while being fully present in it. So that it can be accomplished efficiently, swiftly, and like in wholeness, fullness, completeness with what Source would express or what Source level would want to express it through as you. And through your own genuine authenticity that each of us can only bring through us. And how to live into the best potentiality of that as well. Yes. Anything else?
In the womb, we have the chemicals of mom's feelings, whatever she felt, grief
Yes.
about somebody dying, or anger, or rage, or
Yes.
fear. So
Let's
I
see.
think you've already covered it, but there's receptor sites. So
Yes. So let's take you back as babies in the womb. So let's go into your mother's womb as a baby. You could sit down or stand up, do whatever you're most comfortable. You can go back as a baby in the womb. I want you to see yourself there because I'll be there co-witnessing. And we're going to ask for the pure energy of unconditional love, the source of creation's truth, what that feels like, looks like, expresses as, how to claim that as your birthright in the womb from the point of conception. Let's go back to the point of conception of original conception. Bring it forward into the now. But as we're cleansing and purifying that from birth, we'll give you also what it feels like to be fully nourished. Yes?
Yes.
As well as nurtured, cherished, adored, essential to divine plan on earth, welcome,
Yes.
loved,
Yes.
and loved. Yes, that's the most important. Loved. And what truth is, and discernment, and forgiveness. Let's make sure that's instilled from that point too. Because once we live fully in that state, there's really nothing to forgive. But it's just getting these different mind states out so that we could just have divine, beyond personal identified mind into the source mind, which is, the source understanding of that and how to move in that, if you're okay with that.
Yes.
And then we're going to pull all that forward and all the work that we've done thus far and pull it forward, align to your divine timings into the future, if you're okay with that.
Yes.
Beautiful. What time was I supposed to do that? Am I over? 3:50? I think we're over. But has anybody else got anything else right now that they're getting or wanting? So let's make sure all aspects, all levels understand how to, what it feels like to receive and live in the state of being of unconditional love, and joy and happiness and play and compassion. That, I would say yes to that.
Yes.
You understand that Christed state of self and the beingness and acceptance and radiance of that?
Yes.
All levels and all aspects now?
Yes.
That you know your direction, that your direct connection, that, which it's kind of biblically coming up, but it's like the rod and the staff is when you're in that pure energy and connection of that truth. Kind of dynamic because it was that there is fear no evil, there is none. Kind of dynamic because you guys have now chosen to clean that up out of your DNA by coming here and shifting that, not only for you but for the soul family. So just close your eyes for a second, offer it to the higher selves, to your loved ones. We're going to do that, as well as to the soul families that which you're a part of for planetary service. Beautiful. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for showing up for yourselves. Thank you.